or anything else. And I'm going to read about that because now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem saying, hey, where is he who was born the King of the Jews? But we saw his star when it rose up, and we have come to worship him. We have just finished worshiping Jesus. The Bible says, where two or more are gathered in his name, there he is in the midst. So we were actually praising him, and he's in the midst. And when I read this one day, I was just supernaturally amazed. I said, wow, these guys came from Persia, and it probably took them maybe like a couple of years to get to where Jesus was on that special day. And could you imagine? They're on camel. It's hot. It's sweaty. They've been traveling like maybe years. We don't know. And at the time, they were robbers. They were going through tough territory. And they didn't have air-conditioned cars. You know, they didn't have real fancy cars. They were on the back of camels. But they had something in their heart. It said, we have to follow his star. And when I read those words one day, I just said, wow, this is pretty amazing. They knew it was his star. They knew it was a special star. They knew that a king has been born. So they brought him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Gifts that were fit for a king. And here's a little baby. And they honored him. They knelt down. And they worshiped the little boy, knowing who he was. A lot of people, even this day. And we have the greatest communication ever known in the world through internet, through TV, everything. And yet, people don't know who he is. And so, when I wrote this, when I read this just came in my heart, and I started to weep. And I started saying, oh my goodness, they knew at that time, and they weren't even from that area, they were from Persia. And they knew it was his star. And I said, oh my goodness, I never got that. All the times I read the Bible, I never got it. It was his star. They followed his star. So I took my pencil and paper, and I wrote this down. It says, his star. Oh, little star in the dark of night, shining so bright with all your might. How did the wise men know what to do? Touching their hearts. No, to leave their home away to follow you. Traveling for miles, oh so very far, because they knew that you were his star. They studied books of prophecies of old, touching their hearts, did what they were told. As we read in Matthew chapter 2, they looked for the newborn King of the Jews. They found his star way in the east, found him in a manger made for beasts. Beams of light from you were hurled, displaying the newborn light of the world. The sky illuminated with God's glory. I wish I was there for this amazing story. Seeing you, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. Entered in, fell down, and they worshiped the boy. Opening their treasures, presented gifts to him, not knowing that one day this little boy would die for their sin. So reading the story, there's one thing I know. I must be a light to the Savior to show. Just like the star, I must show today the little boy Jesus, he is the way.